At Thanksgiving dinner, my entire family voted to disown me, cheering as my sister declared I was toxic. I dropped a folder on the table exposing years of financial exploitation, receipts, screenshots, and proof of my sister's affair. Chaos erupted. Her marriage imploded, their lies unraveled, and they lost their cash cow, me. I cut all legal/financial ties, moved cities, and rebuilt a life with chosen family. Months later, they're still guilt-tripping me via texts and fake emergencies, but I'm finally free. No regrets, just peace. The turkey smelled like regret. I should have known something was off when Mom used the good china. Not the chip plates we bust out for birthdays or the plastic ones for the 4th of July barbecue. The good china. The stuff with the little gold edges that scratch your fork. She only uses those when she wants to look like a Hallmark movie mom. All warmth and pie crusts and zero eye contact. Claire sat across from me, picking at her salad like it owed her money. Her hair was too shiny, her sweater too cashmere. She'd been rehearsing this. I could tell by the way her fingers kept tapping her wine glass, like she was counting down to a missile launch. Before we carve the turkey, she said, standing up with that pageant smile of hers, the one she perfected by age 6, there's something we need to say. Forks froze midair. Uncle Greg's wine sloshed in his glass. My gut twisted. I knew that tone. The same one she'd used when she told Dad I'd borrowed his car at 16. I hadn't. Or when she convinced Mom I'd stolen her earrings. They were in her gym bag. We had a family vote, she said, sweeping her gaze around the table like she was about to accept a crown. And we've decided, you're not family anymore. Silence. Then, cheers. Actual cheers. Emily, my cousin, clapped like we were at a Taylor Swift concert. Uncle Greg raised his glass. Here, here. Mom didn't even look at me. Just stabbed a green bean and said, well, someone had to say it. Dad stared into his beer like it held the meaning of life. I laughed. Not the nervous kind. The kind that bubbles up when you finally see the punchline. Wow, you guys actually rehearsed this. Claire's smile sharpened. You've been toxic for years. We're just done pretending. It's unanimous, Mom added, spooning cranberry sauce like she was narrating the weather. I leaned back, the legs of my chair creaking. Good. Then I reached into my bag. Claire's eyebrow twitched. What are you? Thunk. The folder hit the table, fat and ugly. Mom's gravy boat rattled. Figured this might happen, I said. Claire lunged for it, ripping it open like a kid tearing Christmas wrapping. Her eyes scanned the first page, then the second, then her face drained, like someone had pulled the plug on her soul. You monster, she hissed. The room went dead. Ryan, her husband, snatched the folder. What the hell is, he froze. His eyes darted between pages, his jaw slack. Is this real? I nodded. Every text, every receipt, every lie. Claire was shaking. You had no right. No right. I stood up, my voice steady. You just stood here and told me I'm not family. You don't get to cry foul. Mom finally looked at me. Ethan, this is private. Like the $12K I sent you for credit card debt. That turned into a cruise. I turned to Dad. Or the $1,500 for your back surgery. That was really a golf membership. Frank choked on his beer. Claire slammed her hands on the table. You're twisting everything. You chose to help. Yeah, and you chose to cheat on Ryan at the Malibu Inn with Bianca from spin class. The room exploded. What? Ryan roared, flipping to a page with hotel receipts and Instagram DMs. Claire's affair laid out in Times New Roman, 12-point font. That's not, he's lying. Claire's voice cracked. I pulled out my phone, tapped a video. Her voice blared. God, Ethan's such a pushover. He'll pay for anything if you guilt him right. Human ATM. Mom covered her mouth. Emily looked like she'd swallowed a fork. You recorded me? Claire screamed. You left your iCloud logged in on my laptop. Remember? When you asked me to fix it after the boutique crashed. Ryan stood up, folder in hand. You said Bianca was your trainer. She is. Trainers don't charge $4,200 for nutrition consults at beachfront hotels, Claire. Chaos. Wine spilled. The turkey sat there, cold and forgotten. Mom tried her last play. Ethan, we're family. Let's talk this out. I pulled an envelope from my coat. Power of attorney. Revoked. Medical proxy. Terminated. You're all strangers now. Claire lunged, but Ryan held her back. You're ruining me. No, I said, grabbing my jacket. You did that yourself. I walked out, didn't slam the door, didn't look back, just stepped in the cold November air and breathed. My cat, Gus, waited in the car. He meowed, unimpressed. Yeah, I said, scratching his ears. Let's go home. The text started before I hit the highway. Mom, you destroyed us. Claire, I'll sue you for invasion of privacy. Ryan, was any of it real? I blocked them all. Gus purred in the passenger seat. The folder sat on the back seat, a paper grenade with a pin pulled. And for the first time in 32 years, I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. Gus knocked over a lamp at 3 a.m. That's how I knew he approved of the folder. He'd never been subtle. I found him sitting on the kitchen counter the next morning, staring at the folder like it was a dead mouse he'd gifted me. The thing was still thick, still ugly, still full of receipts that smelled like toner and betrayal. I flipped it open while my coffee brewed, the pages catching the pale dawn light. $8,000 for Joel's rehab. Except it wasn't rehab. It was a wellness retreat in Sedona where he did ayahuasca and Instagram sunsets. $2,300 for Claire's emergency dental work. Veneers. She'd wanted veneers because her yoga clients had perfect influencer smiles. $12,000 for Mom's credit card debt. She'd sent me a tearful voicemail about financial ruin, then tagged me in a Carnival cruise photo 2 weeks later. Thanks to my generous son. I'd pay for that too. The first time they asked for money, I was 22. Claire called it a loan. It's just $500, she'd said, batting her eyelashes through the phone. For textbooks. Textbooks, right? She dropped out a month later, but I never saw that. $500 again. Instead, I got a Starbucks gift card with "Thanks, you're the best." After that, it was Dad's back surgery. The doctor says it's urgent, Mom had whispered, like we were plotting a heist. But insurance won't cover it. Turns out surgery meant a $1,500 chiropractor package that included hot stone therapy and a lifetime membership to a golf club. Dad's back was fine. His swing? Perfect. Then came the boutique. Claire's passion project. A bohemian chic storefront in town selling $200 linen dresses and crystal-infused candles. She'd texted me a business plan written in Comic Sans. Wellness cafe and boutique, a sanctuary for soulful living. I just need a cosign, she'd said. The loan's tiny, $50K max. I said no. That's when the text stopped. For 3 months, radio silence. No birthday call from Dad. No guilt-trippy memes from Mom about families sticking together. Just Emily posting a TikTok of them all at a winery, toasting to cutting out toxic people. I was in the background of the video, blurred out like a ghost. But I wasn't sulking. I was digging. Turns out, when you're the family ATM, you develop instincts. I kept every Venmo screenshot, every email begging for just one more favor, every backhanded compliment. Of course you can afford it. You don't have a life. I even had a video of Mom admitting she'd blown the $12,000 on a cruise. You're single. What else were you going to spend it on? But the Malibu receipts? Those were accidental. Claire had asked me to fix her laptop after her boutique's website crashed. You're good with nerdy stuff, she'd said, dropping it on my desk like a dead fish. I found her iCloud logged in, photos syncing in real time. Selfies with Bianca, her business partner, at a beachfront hotel. Skinny margaritas, tangled sheets, room service bills charged to a credit card I'd helped pay off. I didn't even feel angry, just tired. So I screenshot it all. Every kiss, every lie, every midnight, Ethan, I'm in a bind text. Compiled it into a timeline with footnotes. Let the receipts talk. The folder broke them faster than I expected. By day 2, Claire's boutique Instagram was deleted. Mom changed her Facebook profile pic to a sad sunset. Dad sent a voicemail. You've humiliated us. Call me. I didn't. Instead, I took Gus to the park and let him terrorize squirrels. He'd been my only emergency contact for years. The vet once asked if he was my emotional support animal. No, I'd said. I'm his emotional support human. When we got back, Ryan was on my doorstep. He looked like he'd aged a decade in 48 hours. Stubble, wrinkled shirt, eyes red raw. Held up a printed screenshot from the folder. Claire and Bianca clinking glasses on a hotel balcony. Why'd you wait? He asked, voice cracking. Why didn't you tell me? I shrugged. Would you have believed me? He stared at the photo. She said you were jealous, that you made up lies because you're lonely. Gus hissed from the windowsill. I'm not lonely, I said. I'm just not stupid anymore. Ryan left with a folder tucked under his arm. I didn't stop him. That night, Claire called. I'll let go to voicemail. Her message was all venom and vibrato. You think you're so clever? I'll ruin you. I'll tell everyone you. Delete. Mom tried next. Your father's having chest pains. This stress could kill him. I texted back. His cardiologist number is on page 27. Silence. But the best part? The quiet. No Venmo notifications. No midnight emergencies. Just Gus knocking over pins and the hum of my laptop as I updated my resume. I've been a doormat, a wallet, a ghost. Now it was just done. The first snow fell the morning after Ryan showed up at my door. Tiny, brittle flakes that melted as soon as they hit the ground. Like the universe itself couldn't commit to the bit. Gus sat on the windowsill, tail flicking as he tracked the snow. I scrolled through the job offer email again, Seattle, $145,000, relocation bonus, and wondered if it was too late to start over at 32. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. We need to talk. It's about Dad. I blocked it. The Victorian house was next. Not theirs. Theirs. The one with the sagging porch and the rusted weather vane. The one where I'd spent Christmas mornings watching Claire unwrap ponies I'd never ride and birthdays pretending I loved socks. I left a box of old photos there years ago. Time to burn them. Mom opened the door before I knocked. She looked smaller. No makeup, hair flat, like someone had hit the mute button on her. Ethan, she said, voice fraying. Your father's in the hospital. I stepped inside. The house smelled like lemon pledge and lies. Which one? The one with the golf simulators or the one he actually uses? She flinched. He's sick. The stress is self-inflicted. I walked past her, down the hall to the basement. My old room, now a storage dump for Claire's boutique inventory. Unsold linen dresses, dusty mason jars labeled Happiness, $25. The photo box was under a stack of yoga mats. You're really leaving? Mom hovered in the doorway, wringing her hands like a soap opera widow. Seattle's so far. I tossed a prom photo into the box. Me in a thrift store suit, Claire photobombing with her tiara. Not far enough. We're family. You voted. She grabbed my arm. You're being cruel. I shook her off. Cruel was letting you drain me for a decade. Upstairs, a door slammed. Claire's voice, shrill as a car alarm. Is he here? God damn it. She stormed down the stairs in uggs and fury. You told Ryan about Bianca. Bianca told Ryan about Bianca, I said, stacking photos. I just handed him the receipts. You ruined my life. Your life was a Ponzi scheme. She lunged. Mom screamed. Claire's manicured claws scraped my cheek before I caught her wrist. You're pathetic, she spat. No friends, no girlfriend, just your sad little cat and your spreadsheets. I let go, and yet you're the one begging. Her face crumbled. For a second, I saw the 6-year-old who'd stolen my Halloween candy and blamed the dog. Then she hissed, you'll die alone. Better alone than with you. I took the box to the fireplace. Mom cried. Claire called me a sociopath. The flames ate us all. Birthdays, Christmases, the fake smiles. The lawyer's office smelled like mahogany and judgment. Power of attorney revoked, Ms. Wu said, stamping papers. Medical proxy terminated. You're aware this makes you legally estranged. Aware. I grinned. I'm counting on it. She slid the documents over. They'll fight this. Let them. The movers came on a Tuesday. Gus hid in the shower, yowling. Ryan texted. Divorce papers filed. Boutique's closing. I didn't reply. Mom's final letter arrived as I packed the coffee maker. We're still your blood. I used it to light a candle. The highway stretched north, endless. Gus yowled for 5 miles, then slept. At the Washington border, I pulled over. The sky was sharp clean. No clouds. No texts. I took a selfie with Gus mid-yawn and captioned it, surviving. Then I drove. The first time my phone buzzed with a photo of Sophie, I was elbow deep in potting soil at the Seattle Animal Shelter. My new hobby. Repurposing my knack for spreadsheets into something that didn't make me want to eat my laptop into Puget Sound. Volunteering meant shoveling litter boxes and untangling feral kittens, but it also meant no one asked me for money. Just scratches behind the ear and the occasional hiss. Progress. The text popped up as I scrubbed my hands raw in the sink. Unknown number. Image, a half-decorated Christmas tree. Sophie pouting in reindeer pajamas. It doesn't feel the same without you. Sophie's eyes were the same muddy brown as Claire's, all exaggerated sadness and practiced guilt. I stared at it, soap suds dripping off my wrists. This is where they pivot, I thought. When screaming doesn't work, they weaponize the kids. I deleted it, blocked the number, dried my hands on my jeans, and went back to socializing a one-eyed tabby named Brutus. Claire's boutique closed 3 days before Christmas. I found out via Yelp. Permanently closed, the listing said. A single review lingered. Overpriced kombucha and bad vibes. Owner yelled at me for touching a crystal. I screenshotted it, texted it to Joel with a cup with straw emoji. Joel, karma's a bitch with a Yelp account. Joel and I hadn't spoken in years. Not since college, when he'd drunkenly confessed he'd always hated Claire. She's like a TED Talk on narcissism. He'd slurred, and I'd laughed so hard I'd choked on a mozzarella stick. Now he was my only ally, a ghost from the past who'd slid into my DMs after the folder dropped. Heard you nuked the family group chat. Legend. Joel, by the way, Ryan's moving to Portland. Took Sophie. Claire's borrowing mom's car now. Me. Mom has a car? Joel had. I snorted. Brutus purred in my lap, his one eye squinting at my phone like a tiny, judgmental pirate. The voicemail started Christmas Eve. Dad, 12:07 p.m. Your mother's in the hospital. It's serious. Call me. Mom, 12:09 p.m. Ethan, please. The doctors say, staticky cough, it's my heart. Claire, 12:11 p.m. You happy now? She collapsed wrapping gifts. I played them on speaker while assembling Gus's new cat tree. He watched, tail flicking, as Mom's Oscar-worthy cough dissolved into Claire's shriek. They're not even trying, I told Gus. Me, to Dad, page 42 of the folder. Mom's ER visit in 2019 for chest pain that was indigestion. Tell her to lay off the eggnog. He didn't reply. The letter arrived New Year's Day. Thick, cream-colored paper, Mom's loopy handwriting. We're selling the house. The bank says we're $80,000 underwater. Your father can't handle the stress. We just need a little help. Then we'll never ask again. Please, Ethan. For Sophie. I read it twice. Then I did what any sane person would do. I took it to the shelter's annual therapy bonfire, where we burned the previous year's regrets. What's that? Asked Mara, the shelter director, roasting a marshmallow on a stick. Family heirloom, I said, feeding the letter to the flames. It curled into ash, the words for Sophie glowing orange before disappearing. Joel called that night. They're desperate. Claire's crashing on Emily's couch. Your dad's selling his golf clubs. I pictured Dad's prize putter, the one he named Linda. He'll start a GoFundMe. He did. Raised $47. Mostly from strangers who felt bad. His bio said, family betrayed me. I laughed. Gus, snoozing on my keyboard, flicked an ear. You really okay? Joel asked, quieter. I looked around my apartment. Oh, it was a thrifted couch. Brutus's claw marks on the doorframe. I'm light. The last text came in February. Claire, you win. I'm broke, alone, and Sophie cries every night. Happy? I wasn't. But I wasn't sad either. Just still. I blocked her. Poured wine. Watched the snow fall over Seattle. Gus brought me a dead cockroach from under the fridge. A gift. Thanks, bud, I said, towing it into a paper towel. Real mature. He purred. Some bonds you can't break. The first time I didn't recognize my mother's voice, I was elbow deep in a bag of kibble at the shelter. My phone buzzed, unknown number, and I answered absently, thinking it was the vet calling about Brutus's flea meds. Ethan. Her voice was thin, a frayed thread of its former guilt-tripped grandeur. It's Mom. I paused. Brutus, the one-eyed tabby, gnawed on my shoelace. Gus, now a Seattle sleek version of his former self, lounged in a sunbeam like a tiny CEO. Wrong number, I said, and hung up. The shelter's adoption event was in full chaos. Kittens scaling curtains, a chihuahua mix barking at a Pomeranian's tutu. Mara, the director, tossed me a frazzled grin. Need you on corgi duty. This was my life now. Not spreadsheets, not silent treatments. Just fur, laughter, and the occasional claw to the face. The final letter arrived in spring. No return address, but the envelope smelled like Claire's cloying vanilla perfume. Inside, a Polaroid of Sophie grinning on a swing set and a note. She asked about you. Are you really going to punish a child? I tacked it to the fridge next to Gus's Best in Show ribbon, a participation award from a pet costume contest. Then I ordered Thai food and texted Joel. Me, you free tonight? Got green curry and a crisis. Joel, define crisis. Me, Claire's using Sophie as a pawn again. Joel, on my way, bringing whiskey. Joel arrived with a bottle and a story about his latest date, a guy who'd ghosted him after learning he volunteered at a shelter. Allergic to cats and commitment, he snorted. We ate on the floor, Gus sprawled between us like a furry buffet bouncer. You ever miss them? Joel asked, swirling whiskey in a coffee mug. I thought of Dad's silent shrugs, Mom's backhanded "you're so responsible," Claire's crocodile tears. I miss the idea of them, not the reality. He nodded. My mom still sends me Bible verses. I reply with astrology memes. The Polaroid watched us from a fridge. Sophie's smile, so much like Claire's but softer, unruined. You could reach out, Joel said carefully. Just to Sophie. She's just a kid. I stared at the curry. And give Claire a foot in the door. Nah, hire a PI. Send gifts to her school. Be the weird uncle who mails alpaca socks and glow-in-the-dark dinosaur posters. Gus headbutt my knee, purring like a diesel engine. Maybe, I said. Maybe. The job offer came on a Thursday. Promotion, regional manager, West Coast shelters. More pay, more travel, more saying yes because I wanted to, not because I owed anyone. I celebrated by adopting Brutus. You're a glutton for punishment, Mara laughed as I signed the paperwork. Nah, he's a glutton for my shoelaces. That night, Brutus and Gus had a standoff in the hallway. Gus won, by virtue of seniority and a lethal side eye. Mom called again in July. I'll let it go to voicemail. Ethan, please. Dad's in the hospital. For real this time. I texted Joel. Can you check? Joel drove by. Frank's BMW's at the golf course. Hospital my ass. I blocked another number. Therapy helped. Not the let's fix you kind. The let's figure out why you didn't set boundaries sooner kind. Dr. Ames, a no-nonsense woman with a tattoo of Freud riding a llama, called it deprogramming. They trained you to equate love with sacrifice, she said. Now you're learning that love shouldn't cost $78,000 and your dignity. Gus, my co-pilot for Zoom sessions, yawned in agreement. Claire's last gasp came in August, a GoFundMe titled Single Mom Fighting Cancer. Joel, she's not sick. I checked. Me reported. It got taken down. She raised $63. On Thanksgiving, I hosted Friendsgiving. Mara brought her wife and a vegan turkey even Brutus ignored. Joel brought his new boyfriend, a shy librarian named Diego who bonded with Gus over a mutual love of napkins. We ate on the floor, laughing as Brutus launched himself at the cranberry sauce. Toast, Mara clinked her glass. To chosen family. And to Ethan, who taught us all that no is a complete sentence. I smiled, warm and full. Later, Diego pulled me aside. Joel told me about your family. I'm sorry. Don't be, I said, nodding at the room. Gus stealing sweet potatoes, Joel miming Claire's meltdown, Brutus licking wine off the carpet. I'm not. The last letter arrived in December. One word, in Claire's frantic scrawl. Fine. I burned in the sink, then texted Joel. Me, you still know that PI? Joel, for Sophie? Mia, for Sophie. He sent a thumbs up. Gus meowed, demanding treats. I obliged. Outside, snow fell, thick, earnest flakes this time. The kind that stick.